This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Dependable Lock Service. Own a gun, you need a Liberty Safe from Dependable Lock Service. Visit libertysafenewhampshire.com. And again, anybody who goes to our store today, HowieCarShow.com store, and buys any product is going to get 4 tickets to the Red Sox World Series.
Howie, a caller has called in just to make sure you know the Red Sox are out. They lost.
I know they did, but that doesn't mean I don't have these tickets to give away. I have tickets to the World Series and the American League Championship Series, and there's a couple of games left in the American League Divisional Series as well. Plus, I have some tickets to the last week's wild card game, which didn't take place. So I have all. I mean, they may be out, but these tickets are real, aren't they? You see them.
They are indeed tickets in your hand. That is for sure.
These are tickets, and if you buy any product today at HowieCarShow.com in the store, you will get 4 tickets to the World Series in Fenway Park. They're no games, but these are real tickets. That's all I can tell you. Please don't get confused. All right, I'm just trying to think here. Is there what groups haven't the Clintons offended here in these WikiLeaks other than Muslims? They don't dare offend Muslims, right? Or
the gays.
I guess. No, they actually have gone after some of the gays, didn't they? They went after David Brock. They said David Brock he's a rather flamboyant gay fellow who runs Media Matters, and he's been laundering money or been accused of laundering money, and they were saying that maybe he's a Republican plant because of his eccentricities, quote unquote. That's one of those code words, eccentricities, when you're talking about gays. It's like flamboyant, So they've gone after gays. But I'm just trying to think, what would, again, I mentioned this earlier today, but imagine if they had talked about Muslims having severely backward gender relations. Just try to. I mean, this guy Keith Ellison, the Democrat congressman from Minnesota. He's the only Muslim. He's black. He's a Muslim. He would be on every TV show, including Russia Today, and Al Jazeera. He would be on complaining about if Donald Trump had said that Muslims had severely backward gender relations. Yet they can say this about Catholics. And then, just in passing, they slur evangelicals too, because these two people, these two Clinton aides, are saying that talking about the Catholics being severely backward, and then they say, but all these rich people become Catholics because it is, quote, the most socially acceptable, politically conservative religion. Their rich friends wouldn't understand if they became evangelicals. So they don't like, and Bill Clinton is running around saying he's a standard redneck. And we all know what they think of veterans. We all know what they think of anyone who supports the Second Amendment. Janet Napolitano said in the first years of the Obama administration that anybody who has a pro-Second Amendment bumper sticker on their truck should that gives the cops probable cause to stop them. They said that veterans are more likely to be insane. That's another thing Napolitano said. They put out release. They were speculating on whether Bernie Sanders was Jewish, was a devout Jew or a practicing Jew, because not only did they want to slur him with being a practicing Jew, but they also wanted to put that around to the standard rednecks in Kentucky and West Virginia during the primaries. And of course, Bernie's supporters are all losers who live in their parents' basement.
How we got 2 quick questions from the text line. First, 617 wants to know: has Joe Kennedy commented on the Catholic bashing that the Clinton aides are doing?
That's a good point. Has he said anything about this? Has Representative Kennedy said anything about this? This is Representative Joe Kennedy III, the current one. His father, of course, as you know, was the one who said that he wanted to get an annulment from his first wife, his marriage, because of the Catholic gobbledygook. He said he didn't much care for the Catholic gobbledygook, but he wanted to get married in the church.
But that's the routine, right? When damaging stuff like this comes out, everyone who supports Clinton needs to be asked about it, like with Trump.
They do. Yeah, everybody. They couldn't run to Kelly Ayotte fast enough after this thing came out on Friday, right? About what he said on the bus with Billy Bush. Well, yeah, let's question. How about forget Joe Kennedy? How about Tim Kaine? He's the devout Catholic. He's the number 2 guy on the ticket, right? He's very much pro-life, but he supports Roe v. Wade and fourth trimester abortions, and he's the Catholic Church doesn't believe in the death penalty, he claims, but he's signed death warrants when he was governor of Virginia. So what does Tim Kaine think about this this rampant anti-Catholic bigotry? Senator Kaine, do you agree with your running mates, staffers, that your church, the church that a quarter of the nation's population belongs to, has severely backward gender relations? How would you describe your church's severely backward gender relations as opposed to the Muslim faith's severely backward gender relations? Does the Catholic Church? I guess I'm falling away, you might say. But do we support honor killings now? Do we support Sharia law? Do we support not allowing women to go outside without members of their family? Do we support wearing burqas? Do we support women not being allowed to drive? So which religion would you say has more severely backward gender relations?
On a positive note, though, Howie, at least we found a, quote, Middle Ages dictatorship that the Clintons won't do business with.
That's true. They seem to be totally unaware of Christian democracy. Senator Kaine, how would you describe Christian democracy, by the way? What exactly is Christian democracy? And do you think that it's more, as your running mates, top aides suggest, it is more socially acceptable to be a Catholic than it is to be an evangelical? Which in your experience, what have you found it more socially acceptable to be, a Protestant evangelical or a Roman Catholic?
And by the way, the other question from 781 was, do those Red Sox tickets come with parking passes?
I don't have any parking passes this year. You're on your own.
Come
You're on your
on.
own for the parking passes. Sometimes with the Patriots games, I get parking passes, but I don't have any parking passes this time. You're going to have to take the green line into Kenmore Square if you want to go to these games that don't exist. That's all I can say. I looked through the packet of stuff, but I've got all kinds of games,
It's like you're in cahoots with DOT and the congestion pricing. You're pushing people onto mass transit.
Here they are, folks. I'm holding them up for the Howie Cam and the Newsmax Cam. These are Red Sox World Series tickets. Game 1, Game 2, Game 6, and Game 7, because the Red Sox have the home field advantage, because we in the American League won the All-Star game this year. So there you go. The 4 tickets. 1-844-500-4242. John, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, John, on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead.
You fake me out every time I see you on TV. You look like this former General Wesley Clark, but then you got this Boston accent, so every time I have to remind myself that you're not Wesley Clark. But anyway, the reason I called is
I saw him at a diner once in Manchester. I wasn't
he looked
too
like you.
I didn't think he looked like me, but I weighed about 100 pounds more. That diner's out of business too, I think. Anyway, so it's.
I love diners. Hey, the reason I called is I might be an extreme optimist, but I think Trump's got this in the bag. I think there's so much negative stuff on Hillary's part and so much positive stuff on Trump's part. And when I went to Dartmouth College, we had this professor. He was Chinese. His name was Wing Sit Chan. And he told us that there was a religion called Taoism, spelled with a T.
Yeah.
Taoism.
Right.
And in there, they believe in the universe is governed by yin and yang.
Uh-huh.
And the yang is the masculine, the positive, the good in the world. And the yin is the feminine and the negative and the terrible part of the world. And they're kind of like complementary, but in contrast to each other. And I think we're in this situation with this election where we have the masculine versus the feminine, but the feminine usually loses because they cause too much trouble.
I'm going to make it even simpler. This is not masculine versus feminine. This is good versus evil. And, I know Donald Trump he may be a flawed vessel for good.
Good man.
But he's not. But he's certainly better better than Hillary Clinton. There's no doubt about this. And by the way, he's clawing in closer. You know, he was down in the polls last weekend. Rasmussen had him down 7, but he's down to only 4 points deficit now. In some of the polls, he's actually pulled even again. You know, they keep hitting him with everything they can. And, you know, he hits the ropes like Muhammad Ali, you know, fighting Joe Frazier. But he keeps coming back. You know, he keeps coming back.
He should. He's got too much support. I mean, Bobby Knight was right by asking him to run for president. Trump doesn't need this. He is a billionaire. He is smart. Hillary needs all the help in the world. Look at it. She's got a former president, her husband. She's got the current president campaigning for her, Obama. Now she brings in a former vice president, Gore, and she can't do it on her own. She needs all the help of the world because, well, honestly,
I know. And she brings in Al Gore again. I'm shocked by what Donald Trump said on that bus. This is how many masseuses have accused Al Gore of touching him. That guy hits everything but the third rail, and he's another
he still
one.
With Tipper?
No, he's
still married to Tipper?
No, I think she's long gone.
Well, you know, here this guy they keep that secret. They never say, you know, they broke up, they got divorced or whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about Bill and Hillary. They don't live at Chappaqua at the same time.
No.
I mean, their whole marriage is a fraud. And they were saying that her closest person now is this Huma Ahmadine, who I guess grew up in, I heard, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and she's married to Carlos Danger, the world class perv. Again, I mean, Carlos Danger.
Now, right?
Well, they are separated now, but I mean, they're still technically they're estranged, I guess you'd call it. I mean, these people have so many skeletons in their closet, and yet they pretend like Donald Trump is the worst guy in the world.
Get this. She doesn't talk about, you know, her long marriage with Bill Clinton. I think somebody, either Homer or Hillary, said that they just celebrated their 20th anniversary together.
Yeah, no, they did say
Huma.
that. Yeah, I know they did say that. That was really weird. You know, like I had interns 20 years ago, and I would never say we celebrated our 20th anniversary. I mean, that's a really strange. You're right. That is a very strange thing to say. Thanks for reminding me of that, John. 1-844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
There's only one Howie Carr.